What is going on, everyone? Today we are getting some fantastic buy signals in the crypto space, and you do not want to miss out on today's information. I know it's been a long last couple of months, especially if you're heavy into the altcoins, but there are several reasons today that I am extremely bullish, and you do not want to miss this video. Today I'm going to talk about your favorite altcoin. That's right. You guys have been complaining. Maybe I don't touch on your altcoin all the time. Today, I'm talking about your altcoin. So watch all the way until the end. Smash the like if you enjoy the video. And as always, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our content. All right, let's go. So let's go ahead and start off with on the charts. What are the buy signals flashing right now that you need to be aware of and reasons why you should be bullish, at least over the next couple of weeks? Now, today's video, I'm going to look at altcoins, but I want to start with Papa Crypto, that is Bitcoin. And we've talked about this now for the last couple of days, but I told you guys after getting this buy signal with the green dot and the positive money flow, I said, don't be surprised if price action has a little bit of a misdirection, if we have a little pop up to the upside and then start to fall back down. Sure enough, that's exactly what's happening. But now we're starting to see the 4-hour chart and lower time frames give us the buy signals we have been waiting on. Reversals, bullish momentum, bullish divergence, and positive money flow now are giving us positive momentum, a 4-hour buy signal, a daily buy signal. This would give us an indication that Bitcoin's price itself should at least try to make its way up here towards $113,000 towards the smart trail resistance. After that, though, if we continue to mount up, it's not going to be that long before a weekly buy signal comes in and new all-time highs are just around the corner. But like I said, that actually is news from a couple of days ago. As you're going to see, and we look at some altcoins, all those buy signals have been around for a couple of days. Why are we extremely bullish today? If you have been a friend of the channel, I told you a couple of weeks ago when we hit 20 that I did not think that it was low enough. I thought that we needed to get a little bit closer down towards a 10 on the fear and greed index, but I clarified somewhere in the mid-teens with a higher low would also be a fantastic sign that we have finally bottomed out. Well, of course, as you're looking at my screen, we have hit the 15 now on the Bitcoin fear and greed index. This all happening even though last night we did not put in a new low. Back on November 4th, Bitcoin fell below 100,000 and below 99,000. But last night, as we closed right around 101,644, we had the lowest fear and greed index that we've seen in a long time. In fact, to go back and find the last time that we were this low, you have to go back to April of 2025. What was Bitcoin doing during April of 2025? That's right. It was bottoming out after a major correction from a high in January, and new highs would come just a couple of short weeks later. So the charts are telling us it's time to buy. Fear and greed index is telling us it's time to buy. We just had the government shutdown end last night, and there are so many reasons to expect favorable crypto regulation to come out in the next couple of weeks. So why are prices maybe pulling back a little bit today? Some of you might be asking. Well, there is one storyline that is keeping us from ripping up at this moment, but I'll explain why I think it could end up being a nothing burger. We tweeted this out on my X account a little earlier here today, but we did get some bad news as the chance of a rate cut in December has now fallen to 56% from a 71% chance yesterday. This is happening because a couple of Fed members have come out saying that potentially we need to keep rates paused for a little bit of time. Then the White House has now announced that no CPI data or unemployment will be released from the time period of the shutdown. Some are going to speculate that's because the numbers were going to look really, really bad and cause the Fed to go ahead and pause. However, with no data whatsoever, it kind of makes sense that the Fed would be a little hesitant to pause if they have no data to go on. In a nutshell, I think with all the buy signals flashing, this is just a misdirection move here for today. The markets were getting a little too chummy. People were a little too positive. And now we're freaking out because the probability on a betting market has dropped, but is still sitting above 50%. We still have several weeks until the Fed finally makes their decision. If we get closer to December 10th and we don't see a rate cut probability increase, then we can have a conversation about things not going the right way. But what you need to remember is right now, the Fed is not making a decision today. A lot of things can still come out within the next couple of weeks that encourages the Fed to keep cutting rates. Also, we do know the Fed plans on ending quantitative tightening on December 1st. This means they're going to stop pulling liquidity out of the markets. They will allow for banks to get back up on their feet, and the money printers have continued to hum All of these things point towards more liquidity coming back into the markets. I just want to be clear here. Even if we don't cut rates on December 10th and we stay paused, just wait until Q1 as new Fed members will be appointed. There's still a lot of upside for crypto action and a lot of downside for Fed rate cuts coming over the next 12 months. But enough about the buy signals. What does this mean for your favorite altcoin? Let's get into it. Stick around because I'm going to mention your favorite altcoin right here, right now. Let's start off with the one that I get comments, I think, every single day saying, what are your thoughts on this coin? And guess what? I like answering this coin. We're going to talk about Chainlink. If I did guess your favorite coin, go ahead right now and smash like if you are a Chainlink lover. What is Chainlink doing right now? We did a video actually on this last week, but let's give a little bit of an update. I told you guys that there was a chance we could end up dropping here just a little bit lower, closer towards 1325 if we made a lower high once again. However, with us now confirming in the last couple of days a daily buy signal and getting our little pullback, I am watching for Chainlink to make a clean break above this red resistance line and start heading back up towards 1747 or potentially even a move back up as high as $20. The real magic will happen, though, when this weekly chart starts to turn bullish. And one of the things you'll find right now on the flow signals indicator, an indicator you only get right now when you sign up for our VIP trading group, you get it for absolutely free. You do see the weekly chart giving us a green reversal dot, a slowing down of momentum on our oscillator. And when you look at this green box, what this is telling us is that lower key time frames, in this case, the daily chart and the 2-daily chart, are both giving us buy signals. This will always come before the weekly buy signal. And history suggests when we get weekly buy signals, this is when Chainlink rips to new cycle highs. In this case, we're predicting a weekly buy signal should send Chainlink over $30 and possibly up as high as $50 in the next couple of months. After that, I do expect it to have another correction. It's time probably to take some profits when you get the next weekly sell signal and look for a dip to buy again. I still think someday Chainlink ends up hitting my $400 target, but it might not be as fast as some would have hoped for before. However, I still see Chainlink as one of the biggest and most important altcoins moving forward as institutions and governments start to dip their toes into the real world of blockchain technology. So forget my past buy signals on Chainlink. I don't think that we're actually going to be able to get back down to $13. I'm loading up on Chainlink today at these current prices because I do think we're going north of $30 in the next couple of weeks. I got to move through these altcoins kind of fast, though, because I got to mention your favorite altcoins. And if Chainlink wasn't your favorite altcoin, well, stick around. I got a couple more coins we got to go through because I want to talk about your favorite altcoin. Next on the list, let's talk about Solana, everybody. This is another coin people have been asking in the comments. What are your thoughts on Solana? I told you guys here months ago, I thought that we'd have a decent pullback here. And I thought that the bottom could be even all the way back down towards $127 per coin. But as we have found some pretty key support on a key order block in play, and we're getting the buy signal on the daily chart, which again should give us some very good price action to the upside, look for Solana to make its way back up here at the very least back to $183 in the next couple of days to weeks, as that is the daily buy signal flash. However, the same thing kind of comes in tune here with the weekly chart, where we did get extremely close down here towards our weekly smart trail. And you can see, just like Chainlink, while we don't officially have a buy signal yet, we do have a green dot of reversal. We do see the slowing momentum of our oscillator, and we do see that lower key time frames are giving us some buy signals. It won't be official until the money flow officially kind of turns back up to the upside. But this is something that, just like Chainlink and the rest of the altcoins on this list, when we get that weekly buy signal, it is time to go big. And more than likely, again, not promising, just more than likely, we will see new all-time highs above $300 for Solana. I wouldn't be surprised to see Solana push a little closer towards 500 before it's all said and done. But what you should know right now is if you love Solana, if this is your favorite altcoin, I would be adding a little bit right here, right now. Now, let's go to an altcoin that doesn't get as much love, but I know is some of your guys' favorite altcoin out there. And this is another one people have been just pounding on my door, asking me, Tim, what are your thoughts about this coin? Is it still worth the long-term investment, or is it time to hang up the cleats on investing in it? Hang up the cleats because I'm a former athlete. I love the sports analogies, but let's continue. That coin's name is ONDO. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, ONDO has been brutalized over the last couple of months, and I understand completely why some ONDO holders are giving up hope. But as I say frequently, before you freak out, make sure you zoom out. When you look at longer-term time frames, yes, we're back down to some lows we saw in October of 24, but ultimately we just see a consolidation period of ONDO over a macro timeline. We're not dropping down to new lows. We're still significantly above the February 24 lows, and this still has a lot of potential to make a major run up to the upside. How long before we get back up above $2.10? I'm not promising this by next week or anything, but I do think that ONDO will start to slowly make its way back up. While price action has been very disappointing, ONDO continues to be a very impressive coin when it comes to institutional adoption and will be a key leader in the real-world asset play moving forward. Just like the others on this list, we do have a daily buy signal in play. Now, after rejecting on a key order block right here, it's going to be very important for ONDO to make another move up, but I would keep my eyes here at least back towards 76 cents, but I have an inkling that 90 cents in this order block is going to be a very key level for the next big resistance to be hit. However, when it comes to the weekly chart, we have done what we've always done during weekly sell signals. We've wicked below that smart trail. It does look like we are very, very close to getting a buy signal on the weekly chart itself. Green reversal, rounded oscillator, positive momentum coming from lower time frames. This would send the price of ONDO at the very least back up above $1. But check out these other times we've gotten weekly buy signals. You end up smashing through and setting in new highs temporarily, in which case we're talking about over the next couple of months a move back up above $2. Now, like I said, ONDO's been suppressed, but if ONDO starts to catch a bid and if the institutions start to go crazy in the real world asset play, this is one of those coins that could have a similar looking chart to a coin like Zcash has had in the last couple of months as the big adoption rolls in. I'm not promising you that's going to happen. I'm not telling you wait until you see 2,000% gains on ONDO to take profit. But I am saying don't sleep on the potential of this coin. I still think it has very bright days ahead of it. And if that was your favorite altcoin, we just mentioned it for you. Now, some of you are saying, Tam, you haven't talked about my favorite altcoin just yet. Don't worry, I'm about to. We got two more coins that I will cover your favorite altcoin. So stick around. Let's get into them. We'll talk about another coin that's not been so favorable, but yet a lot of people are holding on for dear life because they believe something big is going to happen. What's that coin's name? Some are going to love it. Some are going to hate it. It's Cardano. After falling back down on Cardano and touching here on 50 cents, a key support level for Cardano that's been in effect back since November of 2024. Once again, just like the rest of the altcoin space, buy signals are coming in on the daily chart with price targets sitting at the very least up here at 63 cents, but there's a level of 65 to all the way to 78 that could be very, very important. While we did have that weekly sell signal here just back in August, you can see we have touched not only the key order blocks, but now had several wicks go below our key support level on the smart trail. And with us being very close, like the others, to getting a weekly buy signal, we're watching for a major pop-up on Cardano, at least back here towards 96 cents. But like I said, we often end up stretching this. I think a new cycle high for Cardano above $1.38 should be the next target to watch to the upside once those weekly buy signals finish following these daily buy signals. And last but not least, I know you're thinking, Tim, you haven't mentioned my favorite altcoin. Well, here it is. We're going to talk about SUI. I feel like a broken record here because this is a story of the majority of the altcoin space, but in a nutshell, we're still sitting in a very good spot when you zoom out. I know that price action between August and now has been abysmal, with a lot of these coins down close to or over 50%. But when you zoom out, it really isn't as bad as some people are making it out to be. Just like every other altcoin and its mother, we have a daily buy signal once again in play here that gives us targets up towards $2.46 over the next couple of weeks. But just like the other altcoins as well, we are seeing the early signs of a weekly buy signal coming in. Those price targets are going to be a lot higher here, telling us that we could see SUI at the very least make its way back up to $4. But the reality is, as we start to stretch these clouds, don't be surprised to see a $7 to potentially even closer to $10 SUI in the next couple of months, getting into or getting out of Q1 of 2026. I'll give definitive price targets to watch once we start to make bigger breakouts to the upside. But for now, what you need to know is that major buy signals, both from the charts and the fundamentals, are pouring in. Even though this is not going to be an altcoin chart, there's one more chart I want to show you to make you feel better about the altcoins I've talked about in this video and other altcoins out there. That chart, of course, is the Bitcoin dominance. Throughout this entire process, Bitcoin dominance has been playing with retail investors, but is making definitive moves that it wants to continue its lower high and lower low trajectory. And soon, I do believe, we will be down below 57%, the low from back here in September, We're close to a major rally for altcoins coming in according to this chart. Now, if you're sitting here saying, Tim, you didn't talk about my favorite altcoin. Well, I'm sorry. I guess you're not commenting enough. Maybe go ahead and comment down below right now. What did I miss? What is your favorite altcoin? What do you want to hear me talk about in another video next week? I'll do my best to oblige you. But if you did choose one of the coins, or if one of these coins I mentioned was your favorite altcoin, you got to smash the like button right now. That's kind of the rules of the game. You also got to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you're asking, Tim, I'm new here, where do I go about maybe buying some of these altcoins? I don't recommend new people going into crazy trading, but there is a platform that I recommend to buy, and that is Toobit. Check out the link down below. We have a link tree that you'll see all of my favorite tools here, but you'll see the second option is going to be Toobit, and this is an exchange I highly recommend for both traders and investors. Not only because the fees are super low, but you automatically get VIP 1 level fees just for using my link below. You'll also have hundreds of different options for buying altcoins, definitely things that I talked about in this video. And whether you want to add a little bit of extra margin or whether you want to buy spot, Toobit is my recommended space to go ahead and start trading these assets today. With that said, guys, I'm extremely optimistic, but you need to decide for yourself. I'm not telling you you have to buy. I'm telling you based on the charts, based on the news, and based on the fundamentals, I am in a buying mood right now. I do believe the bottom is in, and I'm buying these altcoins. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts about the markets? Are you buying? Are you selling? If you have questions, drop them. Maybe I answer them in the next video. Smash like, hit subscribe. Adios.